Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
To drain the coolant out of the radiator on this CRV, the drain plug is right in the center, right below the license plate up in the center. I just use a little pair of pliers, I reach in there and I turn it counterclockwise. Once you snap it, you can probably get your hand up in there. I used a lift, you can use a jack. The jack stands at home or just crawl on your back. Make sure you have a catch pan to catch your coolant. No need to take the petcock all the way out, just enough to drain. That way you can control the flow. Once the petcock's opened and the coolant's draining into the bucket, I release the radiator cap to let the suction and let it come out a little faster. And then just set that aside. So we're going to remove the lower splash guard on this CRV 09. It's missing all the push pins in the front. If we had them, I'd remove them, but I'm going to go in the other sequence of how to remove the rest of it. You have to go in the fender well to get, there's two clamps up here. There's one here, push pin, and one here. So I'm going to use my body clip tool and I'm just going to pry them out. And this one. And this too. So these other push pins I'm noticing are broken. Someone broke the head off of them. So obviously that's going to be really impossible to grab. So this one was accessible from up below and I just pushed down hard with my tool like that and it came right out. There's another one in here that the head's broken on it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it to push a pin out, so I'm going to grab like a pair of needle nose, whatever works for you. Gotta just really use your ingenuity. There we go. There's also a 10mm head bolt that goes through the plastic. And it's not uncommon for these, for the clamp to spin on the other side, which this one is doing. I can feel it. I just lucked out. I got it with my hand. You might have to put a pair of pliers up in there. I got it. See, the clamp was broken. The plastic broke right off. So I got to hold that enough to spin it out. And now we're just going to repeat the same exact locations on the passenger side. So once you remove that last bolt, you can pull down your undercarriage shield and set it aside. I want to show you the location of the electronic coolant temp sensor 2. There's 2 in this vehicle, 1 and 2. Temp sensor 2 is located in the radiator on the lower tank. So first I'm going to remove the actual connector, and that's got that clip, the lock clip, pushed down on the ear. Find it, locate it with your thumb, it's on my thumb. Wiggle and squeeze, unlock. And the sensor is a 17mm deep socket. I don't think you can get a wrench in there. If you don't have a socket, you can try and struggle, but obviously this would be the way to go. Nice and easy. Remove it, and you can spin it right out with your fingers. I've already drained the coolant prior to this, so if you haven't, let it cool down to the touch, and then you can get a catch pan. If you don't drain it from the petcock, you're gonna get a shower right now. And you remove it. And there's your temp sensor. That's temp sensor 2. So now to install our ECT sensor, engine coolant temp sensor 2, it has a rubber gasket on it. Make sure there's no breaks to it. If you receive a new sensor and it doesn't have the gasket, you must transfer the old gasket over. This is in good shape, so I'm not worried about it leaking. So I'm going to thread it by hand. And And I looked up and I did not find a torque on this. And it's probably because it's going into a plastic base with a brass fitting, and plus it has that O-ring. So you're gonna snug it to your gentle touch, 17mm deep socket, bottomed out, and I'm gonna give it a 1/4 turn. Now with that nice and tight, we can reconnect our connector, snap in place, and you're all set. So we're gonna reinstall our under frontage shroud. So this goes under this front plastic. When I received it, it wasn't in the proper place. You have little air eyelets that go in place here, and they snap in. You see a lot of these hanging down on people, on their cars and stuff. I mean, it's plastic, and you know, we got our great roads of New England with potholes that are wicked on the cars. I'm gonna try to use some of our salvage plastic push pins, at least hold it up in place. Yeah, now it's held in place. And I'll just use plastic ties and see if I can maneuver, fit them in there. Or I can go buy some push pins. If it's broken, like this one's broken, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a flat edge screwdriver, and I'm gonna try to pry it open, get the plastic piece that's broken out of there. I just wanna salvage this enough so that it will try to keep it up. There's 3 plastic ends here, so I'm gonna slide it right through one of them here and see if I can get it to stay, so we can try to keep the edge up here. It's going to be easier than fishing a plastic tie through. Be careful not to pinch your fingers. You have to go with the vehicle then. So now we're going to add the coolant, and I've installed this clear funnel. It's like a self-burping funnel. You can use a regular funnel if you don't have this. But it's easier for you guys to see it in the visual. So I connected the correct fitting on the bottom, on the radiator, and this just sits right in there. And I'm going to fill it up with the coolant. Make sure that the drain valve is tightened before adding new coolant. Check your owner's manual for the type of coolant in the mixture. This has been pre-mixed. So now that I have filled the radiator with coolant and I used my self-burper funnel, I've left it at a level that makes me very comfortable so that when I run it, it can suck any fluid down in or burp it up and not make a mess. If you don't have this style funnel, do not fill it all the way to the top. Leave some air so you can visually see down there. Start your car and run it. We're going to run it for about a half hour, 40 minutes, whatever it takes to get the thermostat to open. Make sure your heater hose connector inside your heater vent is on hot so that the coolant will go through the heater core and you'll get all the air out of your system. And once that happens, the fans will come on. You hear those fans, watch your coolant level, top it off at the top of the radiator, put your cap on, and you're ready to go. So now that you've had the car run, reach full temperature, and thermostat opened, cooling fans came on, I let it sit for about a half hour, let it cool down, and let the coolant get sucked into the system, and now it's going to be at its proper level. Close this off when you have this style filter funnel, and take it off. You're going to get some spillage a little bit, so make sure your pan is still underneath. So now I'm going to put the radiator cap back on. Seal that up. Check my overflow, and if it's low, now that it's cold, it's going to be marked. You'll see the fluid level where it is, and on the side here there's a line and it says cold and hot, and this is cold, so that's where I like to use this. I can put it right on top and add to it. Check my level. And it's right at the cold level, which is perfect. Reassemble the cap. Make sure that screws down, seal tight. And you are ready to go.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at 1AAuto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.